Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kickback presents the All Memphis Post Game Show. This is your boy Jamal alongside Mase. Mase, what's going on, man?
Hey man, enjoying my Saturday. Got it off to a good start, and then took a few L's throughout the rest of the day. But all in all, it was a good day, man. How are you? How was Memphis on this Saturday?
Memphis was good. It's kind of cold, but the weather was good enough. We're gonna have a good cold spurt here coming in the next few days, so we tried to enjoy a little bit of time outside. What other L's did you take? Did you say a couple L's? Was it just
My boys down at Augusta University. That's my D2 team that I keep up with. Then I was trying to watch my boys from Columbia State Community College. Couldn't get the link, so that's an L in and of itself. I don't know what was going on with Dyersburg State's YouTube page, but the game was not broadcasting, guys. So I took that as an L. But I got me a legendary Top Shot pack today.
nice?
One of the few 2,000 users who got one. So that was a nice chunk of change, but exciting part of my day. So, and the Tigers dub, man.
And the Tigers dub. Okay, well, I'm glad that you not everything was an L for you today. But let's go ahead and hop right into it. So this was an all basketball Saturday for the city of Memphis. The Tigers played this morning, the Grizzlies played in the afternoon. So we're just gonna tackle them the way they come.
Man, how ready are you for one of them doubleheader days in Memphis where it's two home games? You go to a big Tigers game around 11 noon, then you stay downtown, then you come back to a Tigers game or a Grizzlies game later that night.
I for some reason I thought that was today. With the Tigers playing so early, I thought that the Grizzlies were playing the Pelicans in Memphis. And then I just happened to look and say, oh no, they're in New Orleans. But yeah, I can't wait for one of those to happen. Hopefully that happens in the next, I guess the college basketball season ain't got that many more months left. But to try to get they got fans at both. So I think we know enough people for me to get some tickets to both games again.
Man, I don't know. You might catch COVID right now.
when they let the fans,
you might want to wait.
when they let the fans back in the game. So yeah, let's go ahead and start with the Memphis Tigers, who beat the East Carolina Pirates this afternoon. The score was 66-59. Give me your thoughts on that game, Mace. What you got?
First thing that comes to mind is there were so many fouls called, and it was one of those college basketball games that's just hard to watch, even if you're watching your favorite team.
Yep.
Tigers had a hot shooting first half. I thought they didn't put a complete game together once again, as we talked about on the last show. Alo saved the day. Shout out to Alex Lomax. Huge game from him. Maybe his best as a Tiger, and just in the moment to basically save this team's momentum that they have going. Now we've won 7 out of the last 8 games. Actually off to the best conference start in 7 years. So shout out to Penny and company for that. It doesn't feel like it because of the expectations that have continuously been set, and even this year with a couple of bad losses. So I do want to make sure that we point that out. And then the defense when we needed it most. It wasn't as stringent as it could have been throughout the day. I thought we had plenty of lapses, but when we needed it most, the defense turned it up, made the plays, and we were able to escape with the 66-59 win. So that's just kind of my overall thoughts. I know you watched the game with your pops. What was your takeaways?
My first takeaway is that ECU was terrible. It's my first takeaway that ECU is terrible. And then I made a point to keep a track of, as we know turnovers are a big thing with the Tigers. So I obviously paid attention to the turnovers and saw a very concerning trend. And I believe you said it, but I just noticed it reared its ugly head again today. And then I just wanted to see how they handled this game, like how they as a team and an organization handled this game, knowing that ECU coming off a big upset of Houston, thinking that they can play with them, and knowing that they need as many wins as they could get before they get to Houston, right? So to keep that momentum going, it took a step back a little bit that second half against UCF. Would they be able to bounce back and get back into what we saw with the first UCF game, even both SMU games, even though they lost one of them, to kind of see what they were with that. So I think what we're looking at the stats right now, the shooting the shooting has not been there the last two games where it was before, right? So they shot 38% as total this game, and what's that? 36% from three when they were up in the 50s and 40s. Their free throw number, you got to get better at that. You missed 11 free throws. This game could have been a lot different if you just make half of those. But outside of that, man, I just wanted to see. I wanted to see how they reacted to this East Carolina team. When they came out, they weren't gangbusters like they were before with this new starting lineup, with Boogie in the starting lineup. But they were still. They were at one point they were up 21-8 in the first half. You know what I'm saying? So like they were scoring points, and then they went on a lull. They couldn't score, and ECU kind of tracked them down in their first half. But they played like ECU. I cannot state this enough. Is a terrible team. Like
they are.
No, I forget. I wish I knew their names. I just know it was the one light-skinned cat whose hair was crazy. He scored a lot of points, and he probably, but his mid-range, he was airballing mid-range shots. It was ugly to watch for a lot.
Are you talking about the one that the announcers compared to one LeBron James at one point for his mid-range fadeaways?
The announcer said that Malcolm has shoulders like Giannis, and I'm like, yo, okay, can y'all just shut up? Stop talking, please. What you talking about?
But to your point about ECU, they were projected to finish like 8th in the conference, I think. However, the guy you're referring to is Jaden Gardner. He was the leading scorer in the conference last year, just shy of 20 points. Preseason first team all conference this year, and he's a second leading scorer in the conference. I think he's averaging 17.4 points, and he gave us all kinds of problems. In that first half, he was making mid-range, mid-post shots, and really kept the team in the game. Tigers went into halftime with a 36-25 lead, and basically we got started slow. But when I say slow, it was like 4-3. And then we jumped on them. It was 10-4 before you know it. Then DJ and Damian hit back-to-back threes. Malcolm got a dunk. Malcolm had some big-time plays today, so shout out to him and DJ. And all of that was really engineered by Alex Lomax. At one point, we had hit 4 threes, and Alo had assisted on 3 of them. The only one he didn't hit or assist on was when Landers hit the first one of the game. But then turnovers. Early on, we only had those 2 turnovers to start the game. Then we were playing really well, protecting the ball. But during that long scoring drought, I want to say it was about 5 minutes.
Yep.
We were turning the balls over, and we ended the half with 8 turnovers, Jamal. And ECU only had 2 steals. That's 6 unforced turnovers.
That's a great way to look at the stat.
And I went to Ken Palm because I said this is a reoccurring theme. We know it is. We see the travels. We see the stepping out of bounds. Before today's game, Memphis was 345th in the nation in non-steal turnovers. There's only 347 teams in college basketball playing this year. So it's like Radford and Loyola Marymount out here, the only teams worse than the Tigers. So if they ever cut that out, they're a decent shooting team. They're actually the best 3-point shooting team in the conference. Their field goal percentage is top 5. Like, they are making shots when they don't give the ball away. And it's literally not the other team taking the ball away. It's them giving it away. Just mental mistakes over and over again.
And that stuff keeps those other teams in the game. Like that game, I said it in my my stepmom kept laughing at me because first they're like, what you gonna say about Memphis the other day? You gonna go on your show and talk bad about Memphis? I'm like, if they lose, yeah, because they shouldn't lose this thing. But I kept saying that Memphis should beat this team by 40. Like, there's no way that this team should have ever been as close as they were to Memphis. But the turnovers kept them in it. A couple of bad defensive possessions kept them in it. At one point, in the offense, when ECU decided to learn how to break a press and to stop throwing the ball everywhere themselves, and they made Memphis play in a half-court game, that's when they started coming back. That's when they started hawking them down, because in the half-court, Memphis is terrible, which we know. We know that. They know that. That's why they try to play as fast as they can to get the ball up and down the court. And so, like you said, we were up 35-26 at half, and then we were down 41-39 with 14 minutes to go in the second half. So like they figured something out, and ECU's lead got to be 7 points at one point. You know what I'm saying? Until Alo kind of settled the team down. My theory with Alo is still those other guards. It's always about the talent of the other guards that he's going against. But against most of the guards in his conference, like Alo's been eating them alive. I want to see what he does against Houston's guards because everybody else sucks. But that's what I want to see. Outside of Boogie playing those, how many minutes? Boogie had 11 minutes. And it wasn't like he was in foul trouble. It wasn't anything else. Like, so who knows? Alo might be in the starting lineup come Thursday against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, Boogie he started the second half. He missed 2 free throws and missed a 3, and we didn't see him again the rest of the game. So, but yeah, ECU started that second half on an 8-0 run, and you mentioned it. They just kind of got settled in and were able to get the ball to the middle and break the press. They stopped freaking out, and I mean, they just made buckets from then. Jaden Gardner did what he does. We had a couple buckets. Lester had a nice one-on-one move that I thought was going to settle us. He took his guy one-on-one, hit a little fadeaway. Malcolm had a dunk, but then we just went through another one of those spells. Lester missed 2 free throws.
Yeah,
we were missing layups. The threes weren't falling. In the first half, we shot 7-12 from deep.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, we were 1 of 10, and we'll get to the 1 a little bit later. So just the 3 ball completely left us, and we were missing bunnies, turning the ball over. The team was frustrated. I think DeAndre Williams tried to throw a pass to Lester on a break, and it went out of bounds, and they visibly on the broadcast exchanged FUs to each other. And Beth Mowens, the commentator, was like, that wasn't good.
I must have been like doing something. I didn't catch that. You know what? Here's the one thing that grinds my gears. I mentioned it before, and it's the same person who does it. So I am calling DeAndre Williams out about this. DeAndre, you are not in the NBA. Every time a call goes against you, stop asking for a review, bro. Stop asking for it's not going to happen. They can't review a call with 17 minutes left to go, with 17 minutes in the second half, dog. It's not going to happen. Like one of those plays where he threw it off of somebody, and it was maybe it was questionable or not. But he's like, yo, review that. No, dog, this is not the league, fam. They are not about to do that. That's not happening. So please stop. Okay, that's my one rant on that.
I'll allow it. I thought as the game progressed, like 10 minutes left, we were still missing bunnies, and there was a possession where we got 2 offensive rebounds, and the ball got to Alo, and he just like stood out top for like 10 seconds and dribbled and let everyone catch their breath, and then he went 1-on-1 and got a bucket. At a crucial time when we really needed it. It was right before Musa fouled out on the next possession when he was diving for a ball, and he got his 5th foul with more than 7 minutes left to play.
Right. Musa was in those folks' head when the minutes he played. He played 17 minutes, and I think that for that first half, that was part of the reason why ECU was so tentative around the rim, just because Musa's presence was just too much for them. And so like I said, they were airballing some mid-range shots, some floaters and stuff.
Right before he fouled out, he blocked Gardner doing the fadeaway.
Right.
So he was definitely a presence down there. Not eye-popping numbers by any means, but a solid game. Not as good as we've seen, but
I was about to say, I guess I do know what to expect from Musa, but it's not those games. It's not the first game against SMU, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that was just something, not an anomaly, but this is something you're not gonna get that every game from him. I would assume, but he'll take more than one shot because he can usually get some dunks off a roll or a dunk off offensive rebound. But get the rebounds, alter some shots. If he gets you 6 points, I think that's good for Musa. That's good to expect from Musa.
Yeah, man. Your boy Nolly struggled once again. Not necessarily scoring. He had 12 points, which was the tie for the team lead with DJ, but 5 turnovers. And I know there was a stretch late in the game where he turned the ball over, and then the next possession on defense, he couldn't secure a rebound, and it went out of bounds. And it was just like, damn, Landers, come on. But DJ followed up with a big-time bucket.
DJ, so those are two of my points. DJ Jeffries was big for the Tigers, under 4 minutes in the second half. Actually, the entire second half, he was big. If you go back and look at the play-by-play, you see DJ's name more than you think you see anybody's. DJ and Alo's. Had dunks, mid-range shots, threes, twos, rebounds. DJ.
He had a block.
Played well. He had a block. He played really well in the second half.
I think he had a block on Gardner from behind, and then that led to Alo hitting him for the baseline dunk. And then the next thing, Alo got to the free throw line, and then the defense, we hit him with the press, got a 10-second call, but like we were right back. It was a tie game, I think, right then.
The 10-second call, the most obvious call in basketball. Like high school teams can get the ball across in 10 seconds. So
I think the Tigers got 2, if I'm not mistaken.
No, and they probably could have got more because referees are usually pretty lenient with that. You know what I'm saying? Like they unless you really taking your time, they gonna let you get the ball across half court. But to take it back to Landers had 5 turnovers today. The team only had 16. You take away his turnovers, good shape, right? And not to say that you can't have a no turnover game. So maybe if you only have 3 instead of 5, that's 3 extra possessions that you got. And who knows what you do with that. And it gets you to 13 turnovers instead of 16, which looks better on paper and adds to what you could do on offense. And I didn't go through it, but he averages 4 turnovers a game?
It's getting up there. It's consistently.
He had 4 last game. He had 5 this game. I bet if I go back and look at 3 or 4 of the other UCF games and the SMU games, like him and DeAndre, they got to do better with that turnover shit.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the most experienced players on the roster, and they combine for half the team's turnovers.
Right.
And they're not even – DeAndre is handling the ball a lot. Nolly isn't really. Like, he's catching to shoot or catching to basically one dribble or attack the rim. So him having 5 turnovers is something that's got to change if this team's going to win. Like, win big, you know?
Right. And so, like, that's what – and all of these things that we talk about and we build it up, and we've said it before. You look at all of these things in preparation for Houston. Houston is the only team you really have to worry about. I clicked over to watch. I don't even know what the final score of this game was, but I watched some of the UCF Tulsa game, and UCF was up 10. And I'm looking at this game like, who are these teams and what's happening? Because like this shit, Tulsa beat Houston, beat Memphis, and you down 10 to UCF. What? In Tulsa, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. But you look at these different games and you take pieces from all of these games and you want them to keep adding up because you're going to have all of those to beat Houston. Houston is the best team in this conference. Houston is one of the best teams in the country. You can't play your B game against them. You got to play your A game. Like if Landers Nolley has 5 turnovers against Houston, the Tigers are losing. If DeAndre Williams doesn't get you 10 points, he goes 2 for 11, which is, sometimes you have a bad shooting game, whatever. But they got to be on their game. If not, it's going to be a blowout. Not a blowout. They might lose the game. You know what I'm saying?
So, I mean, Williams and Nolley combined for 8 turnovers, and they were also, 6 of 24 from the field. So that's 2 guys in your starting lineup that you really count on and have been the catalyst for this team. But they didn't do it. So I guess one positive is they didn't really produce the way you need them to today, and you still come away with a 7-point win over a team that just beat a top 10 team in Houston. And like I said, the Memphis guys stepped up. Alo, DJ got an offensive rebound late in the game. That was huge. And then with the score within 2, Alo drives, delivers a perfect cross-court pass to Lester Quinones in the corner. Boom, 8-ball corner pocket. Our boy, who we've been calling for to shoot more, only got 3 3-pointers tonight, but hits the big one, and he's kind of becoming the guy the Tigers go to late in the games. That's not his first time hitting a big 3-pointer. Right. It's definitely not going to be the last time he does that. So, stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. I still think he needs to be averaging 5-6 attempts from downtown a game. And Christian Fowler from the 24/7 Go Tigers Go site tweeted something out. His last 25 attempts, he's shooting 44% from three. So Lester is one of the premier shooters, and I think we got to continue to find him ways to get him shots. But what did you think about that pass from Alo to Lester and just kind of Alo's performance overall?
It was great. It was great. I think anybody that has watched any Tigers game knew that as soon as that ball left Alo's hand, it was going to Lester in the corner, and he was going to make that shot. He makes that shot like he's almost automatic corner three, especially in late game situations. So, like, even before he shot it, we were like, that's in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew that was going to happen. Alo had, 10 points, 9 assists, 5 steals. Couldn't ask for a better game from him.
And don't forget the 5 rebounds.
And the 5 rebounds. Like, this is the Alo that you wanted to see. Earlier before that game, I was watching a little bit of the Iowa State Oklahoma game, watching some of Tyler Harris with Iowa State, and just thought about, like, damn, we had Tyler and Alo at one point in their backcourt, but I don't know what Tyler would look like on this team. But now you see what Alo is doing, and this is what we needed from him. This is like I said before the season started, my expectations for Alex Lomax was at least 6 assists a game. He should average 6 assists. You can fall with this team. You should be able to fall into 6 assists. And when Alo plays well, they play well. Mark Giannotto had a tweet, the beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. It was something that I thought was really, it was a stat that about a win-loss stat.
And Alo may not be the best player, but he's definitely the engine and the heart of this team.
Yep.
And we go as he goes.
The stat says Memphis is now 7-1 this season when Alo has 5 or more assists. The Tigers are 22-4 during Alo's career when he has 5 or more assists. So when Alo gets the ball out, when he gets more than 5 assists, they win the game. And this team is too talented for him not to get 5 assists every game. I don't care. Like this, you get 1 to Musa on a roll, you get 1 to Nolly, you get 1 to DeAndre Williams, 1 to DJ, and then 1 to Lester. That's 5 assists right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get 5 assists. He should be averaging 6 to 7 assists a game, easy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there are some games where he would have been there and guys didn't make shots, but I think you're right. 5 assists is nothing, and I think what we're saying kind of leads into the larger point is that I believe Alo needs to be the starting point guard for this team. I know this has all been done coming off the bench, but it's got to translate to the starting lineup at some point. He's playing with those guys down the stretch. It's not a matter of who he's playing with and who he's not. So put him in the starting lineup.
I totally agree. I think it's time. And the one thing that I would caution, or maybe not caution, but just think about, what does that do to Boogie's psyche and Boogie's confidence?
Well, I mean, he just played 11 minutes, so
I've already said I'm surprised Boogie Ellis is still on this team. If I was Boogie, I would have transferred at the Christmas break. There was no way you would have kept me on this team, regardless. I was right about Tyler last year. I'm gonna be right about him. Unless some shit changes, he gone next year.
Well, I hope he's not listening because we need him, especially this season. And I'm not giving up on Boogie.
No. I'm not giving up on Boogie either. I'm giving up on how they're using Boogie. The one thing I was very surprised to see and happy to see is the numbers are kind of skewed because you had 2 guys foul out, but the rotation was a little short. The rotation was shorter today. You played your best players the most minutes, and that's what you have to do. Enough of all this community center basketball shit. You play your best players the most minutes, and you get what you get.
Yeah, and I mean, Malcolm came in, had a big day, 3 of 3, very efficient. I think all 3 were dunks. Like one was in the zone when it was a high-low feed to him. One was an A-low pass to him. So I just thought he was good. Lester was everything we needed. The defense was there when we needed it. Penny rolled down the stretch with A-low, Lester, DJ. And then Malco once DeAndre Williams fouled out, and Damian Ball for a little bit, and Nolly some. So I really just thought Penny pressed the right buttons down the stretch. Obviously, you would have liked to see the offense be more efficient in the second half and not go 1 of 10 from 3. The team finished 8 of 22 for the game, 38%. So we are coming back down to earth, and 16 total turnovers. So we still haven't seen that full, complete game from the Tigers. Hopefully, it'll be that Houston game when we see it. But we won by 7 points. And this is what I found the most interesting from all the stats. Both teams had 16 turnovers. Memphis scored 17 points off of ECU's 16 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
ECU was only able to turn those 16 turnovers into 10 points. And that's the 7-point difference in the game right there. So your defense turning into offense is why you won this game.
And like I'm looking at the play by play, right? And we didn't make many field goals in the last 10 minutes. There's a lot of free throws. So like in the last 10 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I think DJ probably made 2 and Alo made 1 and then the Lester 3, and that's all I remember.
Alo made 1. Those are DJ free throws. Landers made a jumper. DJ made a dunk. Alo free throw. Landers Nolly free throw. DJ made a jumper. Alo made another jumper, and then
Lester in the corner, probably the last one.
Then Lester in the corner is your last made field goal. The rest are just free throws. So like the offense in the half court obviously has work to do, like we talked about. But it's like you said, bro. At the end of the day, man, a win is a win, and all they need to do is stack some wins. This win, can't say it helps your profile, but a loss would have hurt your profile for sure. Because this would have been a quad 3 loss.
Right.
So you win the games you're supposed to win. I actually think, and I've been cautioned against it, but just how this team is, they're going to play well against Houston. They play up to the level of their competition. So their competition is good. They're going to play good. You just don't want to see some of these same things hurt them the way they've been hurting them against some of these bad to middle of the road teams.
Right. All right. Well, I don't have anything else on the game, so let's just get into the superlatives. Who you got for your player of the game?
Easy money, Alex Lomax.
Same. Great tweet.
Got to go with Alo.
1 turnover.
All
those stats in 1 turnover. That's what we've been waiting on. That is what we dreamed of when he signed at East High School 3 years ago.
He started flexing. I don't think you should flex on teams you should beat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I get it. It was a close game, but you still should have beat him. But anyway, he played a hell of a game. Got the team in the right position, and he did a hell of a job. So Alo was my player of the game. Bum of the game. Who is your bum of the game?
My bum of the game is gonna be. Hate to do it to my boy, man. Jaden Hardaway came in the game, had a left-handed layup, and man, that thing was nowhere close. Only 6 minutes. Just really struggling offensively now. I'm rooting for you, Jaden, but it might be time to shorten that rotation a little bit more right now down the stretch of this season.
I need to get this dude's name because I don't know his name. My bum of the game plays for ECU. And he was terrible. He was terrible. Tristan Newton, a sophomore from El Paso, was terrible. The last 4 minutes of the game, he gave up a blow by because it was a close game. Gave up a blow by, didn't care. Like his body language, but gave up a blow by, didn't be like whatever happened. Blow by, boom. Come down on their end of the court. He tries to throw an entry pass to a dude who has 3 guys around him. It was the worst. Even the announcer was like, I don't know what he was doing. I have no idea what he was doing. And then he did something else, and I think he missed the shot. It was like, bro, it was a terrible sequence for him at a time where ECU needed something else. So what's his name? Jaden Newton? Tristan Newton. I'm sorry. Tristan Newton, you are my bum of the game.
All right. Well, let's get into the important question. Did Jamal win any money on the Tigers
No,
game?
we missed the play of the game.
Oh man, the play of the game.
I'm gonna go with DJ's dunk.
I'm gonna go with that whole stretch when DJ got the dunk, with the block that came right before it, and then he followed it up with the floater after Landers had those two tough possessions. So I just huge down the stretch from DJ Jeffries, and again a good sign. So some good signs to take away from this game.
Yep. We'll get to it. Did I win some money today off the Tigers? The answer is a resounding no. They were favored to win this game by 15 points, and they did not win this game by 15 points. Actually, I'm sorry. They were favored by 12 and a half. They didn't win it by 12, and I didn't bet it straight up or whatever. I had it in the parlay, and it was a 14 parlay, and I hit 2 and missed 2. So I didn't win any. Even if I bet it straight up, I would have bet on them to cover the spread because they should beat ECU by more than 13 points. But no, so I didn't win any money off the Tigers today.
Yeah, and Memphis, to your point, Memphis doesn't move anywhere in the KenPom rankings. They stay right at number 50, but number 50 is better than where we were 2 weeks ago. So sitting at a good spot, 12-6 overall, 8-3 in the conference, sitting in third place, I believe, technically.
I think here's the standings right here. Ignore the Fabletics commercial.
I know what you've been Googling. Even though we're only a game and a half behind Houston, Wichita State's in there because they've only played 8 games to Memphis's 11 games. But yeah, basically in second place in the conference and got a couple days off before we play Cincinnati, who is 2-4 in the conference and 4-7 overall.
Yeah, that's a dub. Easy dub. That's a 10-point dub.
Yeah, and then you got Houston to close next week. I think it's next Sunday, I believe.
Next Sunday on Valentine's Day. So, yeah, that is the Memphis Tigers beating the East Carolina Pirates. Yo, ESPN be just snitching on you. Jesus Christ.
You need some workout here, man. You did say
Valentine's Day is coming up. You know, had to buy the wifey something.
Need to give me a gift. But Grizz went down to the Big Easy. To take on the New Orleans Pelicans. A budding rivalry. I took a page out of your book, man. I had some keys to the game. Can I tell you what my keys to the game were?
They go. Do what you do, brother.
All right. I said we need to keep the Pelicans off the offensive boards. We did that pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I said we need to play tough defense, especially one-on-one. I got a red X next to that one. I said don't get outscored from 3. Pelicans the worst shooting team from downtown in the league. And I also said starters don't suck. So just before we get into the game, while I was thinking about our starters not sucking, my buddy Sean Coleman over at Locked On Grizzlies podcast and Grizzly Bear Blues had a tweet, and it says something like the Grizzlies starters since Ja was injured in the Brooklyn game. So this includes when Ja was out and since he's been back. What's he played now? About 5 games?
Yep.
30th in the league in points in scoring and worst in the league in 3-point shooting. However, the Grizzlies bench is the best bench in the league in scoring and the best bench in the league in 3-point shooting. So I was already coming in with the mindset that this starting lineup has to change. We can't have Kyle Anderson at the 3 with Brandon Clark at the 4 and a big at the 5. Kyle needs to be at the 4. Brandon Clark, I'm sorry. I love him. I don't want to trade him, but he is a super sub at his best, and I think that is what he's going to be for his career. It's not that he didn't play well. It's just that he's better off the bench, and Ja can't have 3 non-shooters on the court with him if he wants to be effective. And then Taylor Jenkins hit me with the Gorgie Jane, Xavier Tillman, Kyle Anderson starting lineup today.
Well, yeah, why didn't BC play?
He has a calf injury or some minor injury.
Okay. I I saw that lineup this day, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" Especially when we had JV back. And yeah, we started off not great. Um, our bench unit is going to be great when Brandon Clark moves to the bench. Like we talked about it the last game. Tyus, Brandon Clark, Desmond Bain, Gorgie, and Tillman. Because when Jared gets
Melton,
back, and Anthony, he got hurt tonight too.
Yeah.
When Jaron gets back, Tillman's will be on the like. That's going to be our bench is going to be fire. But you got to do something. You got to start these games off better. And you were looking at the star lineup as a whole, and I was just looking at Ja. I've been saying like Ja needs to be more. I think Ja needs to be more aggressive in the first quarter. I think if he sets a tone of if Ja played like Dylan Brooks plays in the first quarter, I think it would be a completely different team. The games will look a completely different way. He usually, like I say, he sits back and settles in and tries to, get people involved. But like, bro, like you need to go score and put some pressure on some of these other defenses and put the pressure on these refs to start calling fouls for you because they ain't giving you calls, my guy.
Man, I've been a staunch supporter of Dylan Brooks with you, and then on the Backdoor Cut show. And today was one of those tapes that people will show me to make their argument. You mentioned his aggressiveness starting off, which you want offensively from your team, but he started off 1 for 4 from the field, a turnover, fouled a 3-point shooter. And he was guarding Lonzo Ball, and Lonzo had 6 points and ended the first quarter with 9 points. And it was basically Dylan just helping and leaving him. And that was really a theme throughout the game for the Grizzlies, is just not being aware of where the shooters were, just trying to do a little too much doubling defensively. And the Pelicans made us pay for it. As a team, we started off 0-5 from 3. But then we get hot, and I think we made the next 6 threes or 6 of the next 7 threes, and we finished the first quarter 6 of 11 from downtown, and a tie game at 23-23. Or we tied the game, and then it was basically back and forth the whole game.
Yeah, it was back and forth the whole game to the fourth quarter. And I think it must have been the first quarter. We had 12 buckets and 9 assists on those 12 buckets. We're really we score off of assist, which is really good. So the end of the first quarter was 33-31. Bench unit came in, and Desmond Bain made some threes. JV comes back, makes a 3 the first time he touches the ball. His first shot from the layoff is a 3-corner 3, bottom, right?
He hit one, then Bain hit one from the other corner, then Melton hit one, then Tillman even got in on the action and hit one. Problem was, while we're knocking down threes and we were catching up, the Pelicans were scoring on 6 straight possessions. So instead of building a lead, we were just catching up.
Zion dunking and Brandon Ingram being long as shit and just shooting the ball. And the thing is, Lonzo has become a much better, Lonzo is a much better catch and shoot shooter. If you want Lonzo to shoot a 3, you want him to shoot a 3 off the dribble. The 3 threes he hit, or the 2 threes he hit in the first quarter, were all catch and shoot.
3. He had all 3 of them.
Yeah, they were all catch and shoot. He didn't have to move. It was because Dylan or somebody helped too much. Came back, ball in the shooting pocket, going up, boom, it was over with. Go ahead.
And Ingram hit 7 straight too. So when Ingram and Zion did whatever they want to with the ball, and then you got Lonzo giving you 9 1/4. Thank God we hit those, 5 straight threes, and JV came in and was awesome. He finished the quarter with 13 and 4.
Right, exactly. And just for you spoke about how close the game was throughout the game. At the end of the first quarter, the grid was 33-31 Grizz. At halftime, it was 61-60 Grizz. At the end of the third quarter, it was 91-90 Grizz. And then they kind of pulled away in the fourth quarter. So this was a very close game, very evenly matched game between two teams. But one team has a superstar and another star, and then one team just has a star. And so in that fourth quarter, BI Brandon Ingram started doing what he was doing, and then you have Eric, the ghost of Eric Bledsoe, who doesn't do shit anymore, but who consistently kills the Grizzlies. Ever since he was with the Clippers, he finds a way to put buckets up on the Grizzlies. You got him, and all we have really is Ja, is in that star category and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this game came down to a few possessions in the fourth quarter where the Grizzlies missed some bunnies and some open shots.
Mm-hmm.
We end up losing by 9 points, and Eric Bledsoe makes 3 threes down the stretch. Dylan Brooks and others missed threes down the stretch, and there you have it. It was a neck and neck game. The final score actually looks a little worse than the game was, even though it was only 9 points. It was a super close game, so I'm not saying the world is falling or anything. And the Grizzlies did not get the benefit of some calls. Just before halftime, Ja gets bludgeoned in the head shooting a free throw line jumper by Lonzo Ball, who's trying to block his shot from behind, gets a no call, leaves the game. And then it just kind of the frustration continued to grow from there. I thought what was interesting in the first half, like I said, one of my keys to the game was keep them off the offensive rebounds, offensive boards. They only had 4 offensive boards in the first half, but they had 11 second chance points. So they converted every time they got an offensive board, whereas we had 8 of them and we only scored 10 points. So we doubled them on offensive rebounds, but they scored more second chance points than us in the first half alone. Could not extend our lead. We shot 43% from 3. They were 47. Only 5 turnovers for both teams. Free throws were the same. Points in the paint about the same. Our bench had 29 points to 9 from their bench.
Yeah.
All the stats say we should have been up by more than this. And it was, again, our defense never really got into a rhythm and never stopped them at all.
We didn't. We gave some resistance, but we couldn't stop them. There was a couple times where it was just you played good defense, but they had better offense. Like Kyle Anderson forced Brandon Ingram into a couple tough shots, but he's a superstar. He makes those shots, So it was what I watched to see, especially from – I'm just keying in on Ja, right? And I talked about his aggressiveness in the first quarter. He only took 2 shots in the first quarter. He had 4 assists. He ended with 9 assists. 16-9 from Ja is not good, but I don't think that – 16-9 from Ja is not bad. I just don't know if it was good. You see what I'm saying? The refs missing those calls. Like Ja is getting visibly frustrated from the lack of calls that he's getting. He's pouting a little bit. When he caught the layup lob that he felt he got fouled on, looked right at the ref and said, "And one," like that. Like you can see that he thinks that he deserves a better whistle from some of these referees. And I don't know if that's affecting some of the stuff that he does, but he's getting a little more vocal about him not getting calls. And nights like tonight just make his case for him. The fact that in one instance in the first half, you have Lonzo Ball attacking this man midair with his elbow upside his head and not a call. And then in the second half, a clear goaltending where the ball hit the backboard. He was on a fast break layup. The ball hit the backboard, and Brandon Ingram blocks it. They don't call the goaltending. And so I feel like he's feeling disrespected by the lack of calls that he's getting because he feels that he's on a plane where he should be getting at least some.
Well, and he should, because on the other side, Zion dribbles and falls down, and Grayson Allen gets whistled for a foul. So he is rightfully frustrated, and him, Taylor Jenkins, and Ja got a technical like last game or 2 games ago. Taylor Jenkins has got to start sticking up for these guys because they got pumped tonight. They got pumped. 2 missed calls. Tyus Jones not getting calls when he's attacking the rim. There's a midair collision on a floater. It's clearly a foul. Grizzlies didn't get any calls. And they basically just got hoed.
They did. And that was my one issue with the NBA. Not my one issue. I have many issues with the NBA. But one of my issues with the NBA is the lack of public accountability for referees. Everyone else is publicly punished and we know how much you fine these guys for things like that, for whatever. But they started releasing the last 2-minute report, but that doesn't mean nothing when the egregious call happens somewhere else. Like How are you reprimanding these referees for missing an obvious flagrant foul on Ja when he get hit upside the head and missing an obvious goaltending, which turned into another obvious flagrant foul when Steven Adams chokes the shit out of Dylan Brooks on the ground? And Stan Van Gundy has the nerve to challenge the call.
And they don't make it a flagrant.
And they don't make it a flagrant, and they don't say, "Oh shit, we missed the goaltending." Like, how are they getting dealt with? As fans, you want to know, and the Grizzlies coaching staff should know as well. Like, y'all did something to these guys for missing this call.
There's got to be some retroactive way, especially for goaltends, to be called. I mean, they do it here for certain calls and not for other ones. Those goaltends are just aggregate. Shit, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
And just not working out. And then the Grizzlies were on a 10-2 run and in the third quarter, and then just getting whistled for everything. And with I want to say 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, the Pelicans are in the bonus
shooting free throw
for the rest of the quarter. And when you're a great defensive team, or you think you're a great defensive team because you had a strong stretch there for a while, and you can't play physical and use your hands, and this team's not necessarily getting buckets, although Ingram and Zion were whenever they wanted to, but they're also getting to the line, getting free throws.
Yep.
The free throws wasn't a landslide one way or another. I think we actually we shot 19, they shot 21. Yeah. But that's not the point. The point is that that's how they were scoring, and that's what kept them going throughout the game.
So another one of my rants that I have to, and this is with Ja, with the not flagrant foul on Ja. If Ja was on a fast break by himself and went up for a layup and Lonzo Ball smacked him across the head like he did, they might throw Lonzo out of the game, right? But since it happened in this kind of in the middle of the court while there's a play going on, there's a no call. Like there has to be some consistency on a lot of these calls that the referees don't seem to have. Obviously, calls differ from crew to crew, game to game. Sometimes some crews are more on the ticky-tack stuff. Sometimes some crews let you play. That's understandable. But there was a rule that any contact to the head is a flagrant foul, whether it's flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. So if it's that way for somebody on a fast break trying to go for a dunk or a layup, it should be the same thing for somebody trying to shoot a floater 3 feet away from the rim and somebody knocks them upside the head. And it's the same call with the landing zone thing. If they love to do the landing zone to call a foul on the defensive player when the dude is shooting a 3 and they kind of put their foot out there, maybe not even intentionally, they call it. But they don't do it when somebody's doing a layup, and they don't do it when somebody's shooting mid-range, and you have to be consistent with that. I guess we don't care about those calls unless it's something out in the open that everybody can see, or that it happens to one of the star players.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I understand, the league has something to protect with the Pelicans and their national TV interest and everything that surrounds Zion, and I understand that. But Ja Morant is not some nobody. This is your reigning rookie of the year, guy who had a team that most people predicted to finish last in the Western Conference last year in the play-in game. And if the season doesn't get suspended, probably in the playoffs. And it's just, you got Lonzo Ball out here smacking him upside the head. And like you said, the emphasis on shooters and all those fouls we've seen. We just complained about them last game, about how many fouls shooters get. And then the emphasis on, shots to the head. So it's just ridiculous for that to go uncalled as not even a personal foul. You got 3 referees on the court, and it's just a struggle. But the referees, I mean, the Grizzlies could have won this game.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fourth quarter scoring output. 18 points was the least we scored in any quarter, and New Orleans had 28 points in the fourth quarter, which is the least they scored in any quarter this game too. If we were just doing our average, we win that game, right? Even if we hold them to that, we still win the game. So, I'm not putting it all on the refs as much as I don't like referees sometimes, but those plays were big plays. Like if Lonzo picks up that foul or whatever, like we get the flagrant free throw, and then we get a free throw we get 2 free throws with Ja on the line for the shot. You know what I'm saying? With the goaltending, we get 2 more points. So like you are ruining our chance of winning the game when you're not making these calls.
Yeah, and we had some shot clock violations that the defense forced down the stretch, trying to keep us in it. But ultimately, Bledsoe, one possession, took 3 shots. They got 2 offensive rebounds, and he hit a 3 that brought it within 4. I think it was 98, and the Grizzlies had 102. Ingram gets one straight to the rack, brings it within 2. Bledsoe hits another 3. The Pelicans are up 1. Bledsoe scored 8 of 10 there for a minute. And then he hit another one. So he had 11 in the fourth quarter. So I guess he scored 11 of 13 for the Pelicans there for a second. Then Ingram hit a 3. Next thing you know, it's 113 to 104 in the Pelicans' favor when we just had a 102-98 lead. They went on, I know it was an 18-2 run, and then I want to say it ended at 25-4 run that they closed the game on. So the Grizzlies just could not score. And I thought, Jamal, it was, again, we had a lineup out there with 2 bigs and Kyle at the 3 and Dylan at the 2, along with Ja. And that run did coincide with Ja coming back into the game. And I know we can point the fingers at Ja because he is a superstar of this team, but I think the coaching staff is setting him up for failure with these lineups.
Yeah.
We've seen him with Grayson Allen, and we've seen Grayson Allen shoot 50% from 3. It's a mutually beneficial relationship between Ja and Grayson. I think the same thing will be true of Desmond Bane the more that they play together. And I also think DeAnthony Melton being a better shooter than Dylan Brooks helps Ja more. So I think Dylan Brooks might need to go to the bench. He's struggling from downtown, except for like the 2 big threes in the San Antonio game. Other than that, he's not making threes. And I just think the more spacing you can put in that starting lineup with Ja Morant, Kyle Anderson at the 4. You can't have Kyle at the 3. Maybe you don't start him at the 4, but you can't have him at the 3. It doesn't work. It didn't work last year. All the analytics tell you that, and it's not working this year. It's not working now. The starting lineup since Ja's been back has been ass. So something's got to change.
You know what needs to change? I'll tell you what needs to change. Dylan Brooks is form on his jump shot. I hate this shit. Motherfuckers shoot the 3 and he like a flick. He flicks this hand. So sometimes it ends up like this. Sometimes it shoots it right. So bro, give me some consistency on your jump shot, and maybe I won't talk so bad about it. I used to talk real bad about Jaren's jump shot, but I can't talk about it because it goes in. You can't say there's Coach O used to say it about Mustafa Shakur all the time. When I was in Arizona, Stop had a kink in his jump shot, and people would always ask Coach O, "When are you going to change his shot? He needs to change his shot." Yada yada. Coach O, I'm not changing. It go in. I ain't changing his shot. Why am I gonna change it if it's going in at a good clip? So I can't talk about Jaren's shot like that. But I can talk about Dylan Brooks' shot like that. Because this man, you going like this, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Man, and I can't wait for Jaren Jackson to come back. I think I'm gonna go back and watch the game he played in the bubble when he was just an offensive machine, attacking off the bounce, knocking down threes. And you mentioned the Pelicans have a star and a superstar. And the Grizzlies, of course, were still missing Jaren and Justice Winslow, in a game like this, I think would help move Ja off the ball, and also that defense when we're not getting the stops that we were.
A big body on defense can bother somebody you're not going to stop a freight train like Zion, but he's big enough to bother him a little bit. And he can bother Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, slight build, bigger guy, put some weight on him. I think Brevin and Pete made the point of teams guarding Ja with bigger guards.
Yeah, the old Mike Conley treatment that we used to get in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And
big games.
And you get Justice on the court, then you have to, stuff like that. Just the physicalness of it. So yeah, man, you hate it. Well, this is a 3-game losing streak.
3 games. Yep. 9-9, sitting at 500.
The blowout was Indiana blew us out. I guess the Rockets kind of blew us out. The Rockets kind of blew us out. And then tonight's game was a little bit closer. Doesn't get any easier. You don't get that much rest. You got, like I said, they playing every other day. So maybe with JV being back in, and maybe this is the reason that Coach Jenkins changes the starting lineup. Maybe we get JV back. Maybe they set Brendan Clark for whatever, or, you move him back to the bench and you go with the lineup of Ja, who's it? Ja, Dylan, Kyle. You don't want Kyle at the 3. So maybe
I need a shooter. You give me Grayson or Bane in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
And I also will accept Melton over Dylan.
I think so what would be your right now so they play? Let me pull it up right here.
I'm kind of a fan of getting a little wonky and changing it up game by game.
Yeah.
But I know that's not the NBA and we're not going to do that. But I would go Ja. I would go Grayson Allen. I would go DeAnthony Melton, although I think he'll leave Dylan Brooks in, so I'm not holding on to that one. And then Kyle at the 4 and JV at the 5.
I think starting Grayson is not that bad of an idea because Grayson's only going to play X amount of minutes anyway, so you can start him, get him going. If he gets a couple shots in that first 6 minutes of the game, cool, and then you kind of bring him back with some bench units and stuff like that. So where it doesn't, but you have to do something to space the court for Ja.
I mean, I'm just telling you, Grayson Allen on the court with Ja Morant. It was bubble Grayson, and it was the best Grayson we've seen this year. Like him and Ja have a chemistry that is unmatched on this team, and they make each other a lot better.
All right, man. Let's get to the superlatives. Who is your player of the game?
Oh, gotta go Valanciunas, man. 23-7, coming off of COVID, and it really seems like he had a tough bout with COVID. Looks like he lost some weight. Took him a while to get back. Obviously, the Grizzlies are trying to make sure that their guys are up to par when it comes to conditioning, and probably even exceeding expectations that most other teams are setting for their players. Just because we know how the Grizzlies are handling this season, is playoffs aren't the goal. Gradual improvement throughout the year for your players, and health and safety for the core guys is what's most important. So I'm going JV, man. 23-7, and really big when we needed him in the first quarter. Like if we don't have Valanciunas, this could have easily been another one of those blowouts we saw the previous 2 games.
I completely agree. Completely concur with what you're saying.
Do I need to apologize now for sending him to the bench when he got COVID?
No. I think you're good. But no, I got JV as my player of the game too. Your bum of the game. Who you got?
Man, I gotta do it again, man. It's a -24 2 games ago, a -32 last game, and a -25 tonight. It's Ja Morant. And I outlined the reasons why. Taylor Jenkins is doing this to you, Ja Morant. I think it's the lineups. Can you be more assertive? Yes, but I think you need to be aided with better lineups around you. So Ja Morant, my bum of the game, and he knows it too. He's got to be better, got to be more impactful for this franchise to win regular season games at this point. So who you got for bum of the game?
Dylan Brooks.
You were ready for that.
DB, not for 3. Dylan Brooks is my bum of the game. 9 points, 4-17. He's a -10, a -10, but you just didn't feel good with him on the court. And this is the first game you feel that way. Like some games with Dylan, you feel that way a lot, but this is the first game in maybe a week, 2.5, 3 weeks where you felt that way with Dylan. You kind of saw it going that way with the Rockets game the other day. Couple old Dylan shots, you know what I'm saying? A couple old Dylan plays, and you saw a little bit of that tonight. And you got to work on that jump shot. So he is my bum of the game. You have a play of the game, or what do you have a play of the game?
Not a whole lot of highlight plays from this team, but I'm gonna go. We called a timeout in the 3rd quarter. Came out and we gave it to Ja on the block, and then he looked for Grayson on a little back screen, a little fade screen, and it wasn't there. But then the next option had JV getting a cross screen on the block. came right to the middle, and we got an easy bucket, and it was just perfect execution. And I think it points to how well we've been. One, on the baseline out of bounds plays continue to produce great looks, and then just most play calls after timeouts have been pretty good. There are a few questionable ones, like we had one where we came out and just jacked up a three. You know that's not what was written up in the huddle, so you don't blame it on the coach too much. But so that one, just because it was a thing of beauty, and we really needed a bucket at that point in the third quarter. That's when the Pelicans were shooting all the free throws and clawing their way back in the game. What about you?
I'm going to go with I will concur that every game there's one baseline out of bounds play that they execute amazingly. And there was one tonight where JV was in the game, must have been in the first half. I don't know if somebody ran the wrong thing, but they passed it to Jonas on the block, and somebody else was right there too. We still got a layup, but the play was run the right way. And I want to say that my play of the game was it was a lob from Kyle Anderson to Ja. It was a layup lob, and it was the one where when he came, it was right. I think it was after the goaltend, maybe a play or two after the goaltend, and Ja got it, and that's when he came down and he looked at the ref. As soon as he landed, he looked at the ref and said, "And one." So yeah, that'd be my play of the game.
Yeah, who you got for bum of the game?
No, I gave it to Dylan already. It's
I already did that. So I didn't know if you won money. I fucked the questions up bad today, both times. Did Jamal win any money on this game?
No money.
Did you bet money?
I bet a little bit. I did my usual stats thing tonight, and I needed Dylan to score over 11. When he scored 9, he scored 9. I needed Ja to get over 16 because Ja should get over 16 points.
Right on the nose, right?
Right at 16. And I had Kyle Anderson. So Kyle is a special person when it comes to betting on him because you really never know what you're going to get. Sometimes he'll shoot a lot. Sometimes he won't. You just never know. So I looked at it, and usually with Kyle, I'll bet like over 7.5 points, over 8.5 points, something like that. And sometimes he struggles to get that. But tonight, I was like, you know what? I think he's going to be kind of aggressive tonight. He's probably going to score. So I said he would score under 15. He had 21 points.
Bounce back game.
Right. And so what I should have just did like what I normally do, like the over 8.5, whatever. But I caught myself being cute with it and ended up costing me there. And I had Zion getting over 6.5 rebounds. I think he ended up with 5 or 6. And Steven Adams, who averages 11 rebounds a game, only got 2 rebounds today.
Wow.
Only got 2 rebounds and didn't have a single rebound in the first half. And so I bet on him to get over 6 rebounds because he always gets over 6 rebounds. Like he gets 6 rebounds in his sleep, except tonight when he's playing the Grizzlies. So that's it, man. So I bet $5 on that. But you know what I'm saying? I didn't bet much today because I was saving my money for the Super Bowl tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? If anybody listening that takes part in some of these sports bets, I myself, I'm going to bet on the over for the anthem.
Who's singing it?
Jasmine Sullivan and somebody else. Let me see if I can find what the actual thing is.
Who you got, Chiefs or Bucks?
I put my money on the Bucks.
Tommy Trump.
Yeah, on Tommy Trump. I don't know if you can bet. I mean, what is the line is 3? Yeah, still 3. There is a possibility that the Chiefs just blow these motherfuckers out the water. So like you have to take care of that. But the fact that the Chiefs are missing so many offensive linemen scare me. But they do have Patrick Mahomes, so we'll see. All I know is I'm gonna have my beer and my whiskey and my pizza and my wings, and I'm gonna be watching it having a good old time. I do know that.
My drink and my 2-step.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can't find the number for the national anthem. But anyway, Jasmine Sullivan singing it. She likes to have runs and stuff. Go for the over for that. That's the Jamal Body tip of the day for the Super Bowl tomorrow.
Not
But
financial advice.
It's not advice. If you don't hit it, sorry, I'm not an expert. You can't blame me. Blame yourself. For listening to random guy on the internet. All right, we're gonna call it a night right there. It is past midnight here in Memphis. So I gotta get ready to have my drink and my two-step for the Super Bowl tomorrow. Mase, let the people know where they can find you.
At Barn Burner Slim on Twitter, at the Backdoor Cut, or not at, but the Backdoor Cut Show in your podcast feeds. New episodes every Monday morning. Jamal, where can they hit you?
They can hit me at Nerdy McFly on the Twitter or on IG at _Kickback_podcast. And on Twitter at Kickback Pod. On Twitter too, Diamond in the B. Diamond in the B on that, and on Facebook, Jamal Body, and all the other good stuff, man. I was gonna say something else. Golly, I forgot what it was. It was something. It was prompting you to do something. I forget what it was. YouTube. I would say if you made it this far and you haven't pressed the follow or subscribe button, shame on you. Go ahead and do that. You want to, because you like what you're listening to. So yeah, Diamond in the Bluff YouTube page, Diamond in the Bluff on Facebook, the Kickback Podcast on Facebook. So yeah, man. With that, this has been the All Memphis Post Game Show. There's Mase, Slim, and we are out.
Peace.